Hello and welcome back to my channel. Just going to touch on very briefly what I did last weekend again. I told you in my video that I had been out for a birthday meal and what I'd eaten. I also told you that I was going to eat my peanut butter M&Ms that my friend buys me from America, and I did. I ate all of them. Guesstimating, or rather estimating, I had 150-ish sins last Saturday. Now that was planned to be off plan. It wasn't a compulsive act on my part, so I'm really comfortable with it. However, I wasn't comfortable with eating all those peanut butter M&Ms, and in fact, by the time I'd finished them, I felt positively awful. When Joe decided we would go for a walk in the evening, I literally made it to the end of our cul-de-sac and had to come back. I was in so much pain, wasn't I, Joe?
Yeah.
I was hobbling
Refused.
I refused to come out the starting gate. I was hobbling like a little old lady. My belly hurt, my digestion hurt. And it was obviously too much fat from the peanut butter in the M&Ms and too much sugar. Because at 5 o'clock the following morning, I was still wide awake and reading an audiobook. I was on a sugar high, totally on a sugar high. What I've concluded from this is that I no longer need this 3 times a year tradition. It doesn't work for me anymore. I've obviously moved on beyond eating that kind of stuff, and my body doesn't want to tolerate it anymore. So on Tuesday morning, when I was having coffee with the friend who bought them for me, I explained very politely that this is a tradition that for me needs to come to an end. I felt really ill on Saturday night, and I deserved to. I was a pig. Sunday morning, after only a couple of hours sleep, I was up with a bounce in my step and I could have run up mountains. I was totally fueled by sugar and fat, which is not always a bad thing to be fueled by fat. But honestly, I wasn't I, Joe?
You said your legs ached that day, I remember.
Well, my muscles were sore. I had loads of energy, but...
And you were weeing loads as well.
Well, let me get round to that.
Oh, sorry.
From the waist down, my hips, my leg muscles were really sore, and I put that down to the glycogen. Is it glycogen?
Yeah.
It's got to go somewhere, so it was going into the muscles. And then by the end of the day, I was literally weeing litres. And I think what it had done was like inflamed my muscles. And then when the inflammation started to go down, the water had to come out and go somewhere. So the whole thing was a really strange experience that I don't intend to repeat. So I told my friend on Tuesday, thanks, we've been doing this for years, but now it's time to stop. For me, she can continue doing it, and my other friend can continue doing it, but for me it has to stop. So that 3 times a year tradition came to an end last weekend. And I will say one thing, and this is genuine. I was so relieved to get back on plan on Sunday morning, because there's nothing better for me than the way I eat today. And I actually quite resented having to miss my avocado, my feta cheese, my thin crackers, my sushi and things like that in favour of peanut butter chocolate M&Ms. Now, if you'd said to me 2 years ago that I would find myself in that position, I'd have laughed at you, because I would have killed to eat chocolate. And it doesn't have the same power over me today. So that's a report about what happened last weekend. So I got back on plan on Sunday morning. The one thing I was really careful not to do was to play catch up, because I knew that I had had at least 150 sins on Saturday. So it would have been very easy to say, okay, I'm going to drop my sins to 5. That'll pull me back 60 on the week. I'm going to drop a couple of AMX choices. That'll pull me back another 60 or up to 74 on the week. Add that up and I've nearly covered what I ate yesterday. What I did was what my consultant tells us to do. Go back to the plan that you work every day. So from Sunday through to last night, which is what gets my weight loss or my weight gain, I actually had 4 healthy extras every day, and I had 15 sins every day. And I have an accountability buddy?
Accountability buddy.
Accountability buddy. I can't say it. It comes from SpongeBob SquarePants, apparently. I've got an accountability buddy, and we exchange food diaries every day. And I know it's helping both of us to do this. So there's another suggestion if it would help anybody else. It really does help me, because it makes me look at what I'm eating, and it makes me focus on having enough of the right things. So went back to that, 15 sins every day, my 4 healthy extras, got on the scales this morning.
Oh no, sorry, it's not SpongeBob, it's South Park.
Oh sorry, it's South Park, it's not SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a bit more grown up than if it's South Park.
Yeah, there you
Yeah, there you go. Went back to all that, stood in the queue this morning, got on the scales, and I wasn't anxious at all because I knew whatever result I got, I had done the best I could do. I was going to say fucked up, I shouldn't say that. I hadn't messed up, I'd done the best I could do. I got on the scales, the lovely lady said to me, "You've lost £0.5 pound and you get your 4.5 stone award." And that was such a joy because I didn't quite see that coming. So here, can you hold that in front of the camera for me, please?
Yeah.
My 4.5 stone award. So when I joined Slimming World in May 2015, I'd lost enough weight to get me down to 13 stone 8, and today I am 9 stone 1. Okay, that's £6 under my target, but who's bothered about that? I'm still... In my head, I think I was talking to Naomi about it this morning, there's a figure looming in my head and I may never get to it, and I'm not trying to get to it. If it happens, it happens, I'll be well chuffed. But if I lost £1 more, that would give me a total weight loss of 13 stone. And numbers matter to me. I love numbers. Yeah, I could go up again next week and move away from that 13 stone loss. I could lose £0.5 pound again. The one thing I'm sure of is I will be on plan for 7 days. So that's all that matters. The result I get will be the result I deserve. The mileage I've done this week is 44.73. Yeah? Is that on the screen?
Sorry.
He's doing something else.
44.73.
Yeah, 44.73. And that was easy. It's just coming so naturally now to walk to places. And I don't wear my Fitbit when I'm around the house. I haven't got my Fitbit on now. I wear my Fitbit when I specifically am going out the door to walk somewhere. If I kept it on all day, I could probably clock up 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 steps a day more than I actually have on my Fitbit. But I just find it motivating and encouraging. And Joe, Gadget Boy, has bought another thing this week which I also find extremely motivating and encouraging, and I might well order myself one. We went to the running shop in Nottingham and Joe was looking for a heart rate monitor which efficiently measures your heart rate and also your calorie usage. I think that's a bonus, isn't it, the calorie bit? You wanted it for the heart rate, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted it for the heart rate. Yeah.
But can you show it on the camera?
Yeah.
And I was astounded because he's tall and very slim and his heart rate monitor fitted me with no adjustment.
It's just like a little belt, a little stretchy belt
You
that has
wear
a
it-
clip on
Yeah, you wear it just below your ribs, don't you?
it. Yeah.
And you sync it to an app on your phone. And when you exercise, well, I suppose you could wear it 24/7 if you wanted to because you can't see it under your clothing. But when you exercise, it feeds back to the app on your phone and literally gives you a graph of your heart rate. And Joe has quite a low heart rate, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
He's so laid back, he's horizontal.
Yeah.
So he's actually using it in a way that he can do exercises that will push his heart rate up more, because he can exercise for quite a lengthy period and his heart rate doesn't even get up to where mine starts. Just as we only picked it up yesterday, didn't we? And just as an experiment, Joe did 5,000 steps last night, and we don't walk at a snail's pace, we walk at a reasonable pace, don't we?
Yeah.
And Joe wore this. And can you give us a stat? Your heart rate was...
Oh, I'm sorry, I'd have to get my phone.
Oh, I've got it in my head. I thought I was just going to let you
my
say
average
it.
heart rate was 77, wasn't it?
Yeah, his average heart rate over 5,000 steps was 77 beats a minute. And he's got long legs. I mean, he's 6 foot. And we don't dawdle. We move. And
Here you go, I'll put it on the screen.
how many calories did you burn in 5,000 steps?
Well, if it'll focus on it. I'm sorry, one sec.
Is it not focusing?
Yeah, it's got it. 91.
So, yeah, 5,000 steps and he burnt 91 calories, and that was at a good walking pace. Now, the reason Joe and I walk, and have done for a long time, is it's not to lose weight. We don't believe that walking for us is about losing weight. Certainly not for me, and Joe doesn't need to. What it is about for us is increased and improved mobility and stamina.
Just
Whereas-
mental well-being.
Well, yeah, mental well-being.
Good for your digestion after tea.
It's also good for your brain walking, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for us, it gives us an opportunity to catch up with each other on different things we've been doing. Sometimes we walk in silence. We have occasionally listened to an audiobook, but he says I slow down too much if I'm focused on a book, don't you?
Yeah, because
So-
you can't see where you're going.
Because I can't see where I'm going and I'm focused on the book, it tends to make me more cautious. So that didn't work very well. Maybe music would work better and get a fast beat going. But yeah, we do not walk to lose weight. And I was actually surprised. I would have thought 5,000 steps would burn more than 91 calories. And this is accurate because it's resting above your heart. That would have burnt less calories for me because men burn more than women, don't they?
Yeah.
So for me, that probably would have burnt 65, 70 calories. So there is no point at all in me relying on walking an average of 15,000 steps, or sometimes up to 20,000 steps a day to lose
Just to
weight.
burn 150 calories.
Yeah, I'd have to be
Yeah.
on a treadmill from the minute I woke up to the... I mean, yesterday Joe's like, I've got this thing, let's put it on you and let's see what your heart rate is. So he put it on me. My heart rate was around 70 beats a minute. You've got to get it up to 100, he said. Well, I was running on the spot, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And I was literally running as fast as I could run.
You got it there.
I got it to 100, but it took some doing. I've never run that fast in my life.
And keep it up for 30 minutes,
But
yeah.
when I think about it, you know, how high my heart rate must have been when I was 22 stone. As you get smaller, and I say I'm 9 stone 1, so 127 pounds, as you get smaller, your heart rate and things like that don't have as much pressure put on them, do they?
No.
You don't burn as many
You don't
calories.
have to work as hard.
Yeah, you don't burn as many calories when you're smaller as you do when you're bigger. There's all sorts of figures that come into it.
Like
But-
if I had to carry myself around all day, I'd be knackered within like 10 minutes. You
What, you
know what I
mean
mean?
carry
If I
your
was,
own weight
yeah, if I
again?
was like 20 stone,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
knackered.
but you see, I was
And it's a lot of
carrying.
effort for overweight people. To
When I was at
move.
my highest, I was carrying a 12 stone, 13 pound person all day, every day. I just don't know. Well, looking back on it, I'll say I don't know how I did it. I do know how I did it. I just never did anything. I was always too tired and in too much pain. It's a different story today, so it's good. What's next on my list, please?
Next on the list is
Milk.
A2 milk.
We found something that's really interesting. It's called A2 milk. Now, A2 milk is supposed to be much better for people who have things like IBS, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
And
just
bloating.
easier on digestion.
Because of the A2 protein in it, it's much easier on your digestion. I drink goat's milk for that very reason, because goat's milk is an A2 protein and is really gentle on my digestion. I used to suffer with terrible stomach problems and IBS. Touch wood, and by the grace of God, I don't have a problem today.
Hold it maybe a touch higher, please. Higher, please. Not, yeah, there you go.
This is from Sainsbury's. I'm
Maybe a little
assuming-
higher. Yeah, it started going down and
That
it's still
does,
going
yeah.
down. Yeah, oh, okay.
I'll give it to you.
No, it's alright, you've shown
Well,
it.
I want you to read what it says on the bottle.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. I moved on to goat's milk for the A2 protein. We hadn't seen this milk at that stage. But for anybody who does suffer from IBS or reacts to cow's milk, there is a reason why this one is better for you. And I think it was £1.39 in Sainsbury's. I'm sure other supermarkets must do it. Yeah? What does
Yeah.
it say?
A2 milk is free from the A1 protein found in regular cow's milk that can trigger symptoms of milk intolerance. We select cows that naturally produce only the easy to digest A2 protein in their milk. A2 milk is fresh filtered cow's milk that's naturally gentle on sensitive tummies with nothing added and nothing taken away.
So if you think you have a problem with milk because maybe you think you've got a lactose intolerance, which is the sugar in it, it might not be that. It might be the A1 proteins. So I would say, if you can find it in your local supermarket, give it a go. My next thing is something that came out of going shopping the other day.
Or if you could get donkey milk.
Oh yeah, donkey milk's A2 protein.
Goat,
Camel milk.
Goats, sheep, camels, buffaloes, yaks, donkeys.
And you missed the important one. Human milk is
human milk.
A2 protein.
Yeah.
So if you've got kids, and you know, like we don't give our kids cow's milk until they turn 1 year old, and then some people will start, say they're breastfed, and then they'll wean their kids onto cow's milk at a certain age, sometimes a little older than that. It depends on whether you've got to go back to work or whatever. If you move your children onto cow's milk and you find they have a problem, this could be an alternative. Because I know in my family, several of the children, not my grandchildren, my mum's grandchildren, have had problems with cow's milk. And I wish I'd known this, because this might have helped them transition from breast milk to cow's milk, because it's the same protein as breast milk. So, yeah. Might not help anybody, but if it helps one person, it's worth it. Went shopping on Wednesday with a young lady called Liz, who I did a video with, Liz the journalist. And we went to TK Maxx because I had some TK Maxx vouchers for my birthday. When we got there, it was like, what do you want? What are you looking for today? And I wanted a fleece. And Joe has a walking fleece made by Berghaus. And we actually spotted the ladies equivalent to that. Now, Joe paid 65 quid for his a few weeks ago. Mine was 29 in TK Maxx. So TK Maxx rocks. What I found really interesting was when I was at my heaviest, and I would look to buy a fleece or a zip-up hoodie, I needed 2XL in men's sizes. And then one of my dear friends used to shorten the sleeves, put the cuffs back on so it fit me properly in the arms, because they were always like miles too long. But to get my chest and my back fat and my big huge arms in, I needed a 2XL in men's. Gosh, that's weird. The one I bought this week was a ladies small, which is like a size 10. And just holding it, I was very much like, that ain't going to fit me. But it did. So I was grateful for that, non-scale victory. But then I bought this. I don't know if does it show Joe on the camera?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah. This is a skirt in black and white dog tooth check. I love it because right down the back, it's got a zip from the hem to the waist. I tried on several skirts, and Liz was like, no, can't buy that, it's too big. Can't have that, it's too big on the hips. Can't have that, too big on the thighs. Can't have that, it's baggy on your butt. So then we found this skirt, tried the skirt on, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. Feels fabulous, fits perfectly. And so she said, are you going to buy it? I said, yes. And she said, Jane, it's, is that the right way around?
Yeah.
UK size 8. So that was another non-scale victory. I've never had a size 8 skirt before.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
And I'm really chuffed. The one last thing I want to speak about today is, in my life, the importance of numbers. In my Slimming World life, the importance of numbers. We might think, or people might believe, for them, it doesn't matter what the scales say, it's how you feel or whatever. For me, it really does matter what the scales say, because I can't look in a mirror being blind and see what I look like. I can't gauge whether my clothes aren't looking as good because I can't see myself. What I can judge myself on and what I feel comfortable with is the number on the scale. And I started Slimming World at 13 stone 8 after losing 8+ stone because I wanted to be smaller. So those numbers on that scale every week matter to me. I'm not going to cry over them if I have a gain next week. I'm not going to get depressed. I'm certainly not going to eat over them. I'm not going to celebrate because they've gone down. I'm not going to commiserate because they've gone up. But they are why I am doing this. So, I've been talking to Joe about it, bits and bobs about it as we've been walking, and saying, you know, what it means to me. And I think maybe if I was sighted, I might feel differently. I don't know, because numbers matter. It's a way of me knowing where I'm at and keeping a check on it. So I was just sitting earlier, because Joe's recently come in from work, and I was actually just writing on my phone my top 10 numbers for Slimming World. And they go like this. Number 1? I say it. You say number 1.
No, right,
we
okay.
didn't practice this. You say number 1.
Number 1.
I only get weighed once a week. I will never get on any other scales other than my scales at group or the particular group I'm at that week. If I had to go to the doctors or the hospital, I'll take my book with me because I'm never more than 7 days away from having been weighed. And I've been to the doctors before, got on the scales and weighed half a stone more on his than I do on the previous scales that I've been on. I'm not putting myself in that place again. So if anybody wants to know medically how much I weigh, the proof's in my book. Right?
2.
Number 2, I try and succeed most of the time to only have 2 pieces of fruit a day, because I can be really greedy around fruit, and I certainly don't like to take that amount of fructose. And I couldn't take a lot more fructose than I take today and stay where I'm at on this weight loss journey, because it doesn't suit me to. And 2 pieces of fruit a day is plenty for me.
3.
3.
Why can't you just say it?
Okay,
This is
I'll
getting
do
a
it.
bit
I'll do
awkward.
it.
Yeah.
3 meals a day and nothing in between. That's my lifestyle today. Now, I'm not saying anybody else has to do any of this. I'm just telling you what I do. This is my top 10 for Slimming World. So, yeah, 3. I eat 3 meals a day. I don't eat in between. 4. I have 4 healthy extras every day. Now, if I needed to manipulate my food in such a way, I would drop a healthy extra before I would drop my sins. But I can't foresee the need to do that when eating the way I eat, my 4 healthy extras, my 15 sins is keeping me there or thereabouts to where I want to be. So, yeah. 5. I aim to have a minimum of 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day. So if I have 2 pieces of fruit, I've got to have a minimum of three different veggies. And it actually makes me more mindful of having vegetables, when it would be easy to just have, a little bit of a few mushrooms with my lunch or whatever. I'm actually focusing on having more. So I might have 5 different vegetables in small portions rather than 1 big portion of cauliflower. I'm trying to be a bit more mindful about that. So that's 5. 6. My last meal of the day is I call it dinner, supper, evening meal. I eat at around 6 o'clock. After I finish that meal, and it doesn't matter how big that meal is as long as it's on plan, after I finish that meal, I don't eat again until breakfast. That has been a saviour for me, because in the evenings I can get very easily bored. If Joe's off doing something else, I can be like, what can I eat? What can I nibble? I'm peckish. What can I chew on? But because I know today that I don't eat after my evening meal, now it might take me an hour to eat my evening meal if I wanted to, but 6 o'clock meal, last meal of the day, and I never go to bed hungry because I eat plenty at meal times. 7. I stick to this plan 7 days a week. I don't have the rest of Saturday off because I get weighed at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. I come back from weigh-in, I have my normal breakfast, and I eat normally for the rest of the day. I don't need to celebrate, I don't need to commiserate. I love the way I eat today. 8. When we get up in the morning, and I'm usually up around 7 or just before, I like to get up, get ready, go walking, do 5,000 steps, come back, have a shower, do my hair, get dressed, and be sitting down for my breakfast at about 8 o'clock. That gets my day off to a good start, and that breakfast meal fills me for a good 4.5 to 5.5 hours. So never hungry again in the mornings, not looking for bits and bobs to eat. What number was that? 8. 9. Oh no, what was 9? Yep, it is my intention for the rest of my life to have a weight that starts with 9 stone. I don't want to go back over 10. I want to stay in the 9s. My target is 9 stone 7, which means I can go up to 9 stone 10. I don't intend to drop my target to 9 stone, which is what I would need to do if I wanted to drop it from here. I don't want to be under 9 stone. A 9 stone target would allow me to be 8 stone 11 to 9 stone 3. I don't need to go there today. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm not saying I would never like to see that 8. If I saw 8 stone 13.5, I think it would be a thrill, but it's not where I want to be. I want to be in the 9s. And 10. After dinner at night, if we can, we walk 5,000 steps. Before breakfast in the morning, which is most days, because we'll get up even earlier if you've got an early start. We walk 5,000 steps. So that's my 10,000 steps a day, and anything else I do during the day to add on to that is a bonus. I've always got 5,000 steps a day. And if I did no other walking during the week, that would give me an average of 32.
You've always got 10,000.
So what did I say? 5?
5.
Sorry. I've always got a baseline of 10,000 steps a day. And if I did no other walking during the week, that would give me an average of 32.5 miles a week, which, again, as I say, is becoming easy. And we've got the time to fit that in. And my last number is, I'm going to say 100, because it's 100 sleeps tonight till Santa comes. And the one thing I'm saying, and this is for myself, is I am not focusing on Christmas. So I've mentioned it and that's it. I'm not focusing on what I'm going to eat at Christmas, what I'm not going to eat at Christmas. Am I going to have chocolate? Am I going to come off plan? The most I'll do is 1 meal off plan, because that fits and that's me planning to do it. And that works for me. Your story might be very different. Your plan might be very different. There's no right way and there's no wrong way. There's just, we do it our way. So yeah, that's me for today. Back to my normal way of doing it, and we'll see what result I get next week. It could be a gain, it could be a loss, it could be a maintain. But the one thing it will be is, it'll be what I deserve.
And it'll be on plan.
And it'll definitely be on plan, because I'm not. Last Saturday was lovely. The meal out was wonderful. But you know what? Sunday was even better, because I was back on plan. And I
remember you saying that on Saturday night. You were like, oh, like all that food today was really nice, but like I missed my feta and avocado on rye crackers.
Yeah, and I'd rather be on plan. I'd rather because the food I eat today is what I choose. It's the things I really love, the things I really enjoy, and to have to forego that to fit in some other food was not the pleasurable experience I thought it would be. I'm not planning to go out for another lunch until it's my friend's birthday on the 2nd of November. I'm not even going to think about that until the 1st of November. So yeah, been a lovely week. Some tough stuff going on in the family, but life gets in the way. There's no good eating over it. So I would say to all of you, have a good week, do your best, enjoy your food. That's what's vitally important, I think. I enjoy my food today. We'll be back next Saturday. Remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Cheers.